Hello, everyone. My name is Darren Gibson, and I am going to facilitate this course for you today on prospecting for real estate agents using digital media. Before we get started, I want to run through a quick agenda with you. We're going to do a quick welcome and introduction. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about myself, my background, what I do, where I come from, how I got here, and how I kind of got involved with green. Then we're going to touch a little bit on why prospecting is important. One of the reasons why we as agents in this industry, we continue to prospect and what that looks like in the grand scheme of things in the current market. From there, we're going to touch on prospecting with digital media, what that looks like, some of the platforms that we could use, etc. I'm going to go through a few platforms with you. I'm going to share some tools and tricks of the trade that I use in that particular space. And then we're going to open it up for questions. Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Dr. Darren T. Gibson. I live in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm an educator and a training facilitator by trade and by training. So I teach collegiately, and I have been teaching collegiately for the past 10 or so years. I teach business students at a community college level, and I also teach graduate business students in an MBA program. I am a real estate broker by passion. Real estate truly is my passion. I've been a licensed real estate agent since 1999. I got my first license right out of college in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then I moved to Atlanta. And I practiced in Atlanta, Georgia for 11 years before moving here to the Washington, D.C. area. I came here and I started a job full-time. I worked for a company full-time, one of the largest real estate holding agencies in the country, Freddie Mac. I worked for them as an asset manager for about 4 years, and then I moved back into doing real estate specifically. I reopened my brokerage here in the DC area in 2013, and we've been going strong ever since. So my current firm, I have 14 agents that work for me. We are a boutique firm, but we do some very strong and solid numbers for a firm of our size. Like I said, real estate is my passion. I'm all about learning in those avenues. I hold multiple certifications and designations in the real estate area, ABR, CRS, NPR, and some others. ABR, if you are not familiar with that designation, it's the Accredited Buyers Representation designation. CRS is the Certified Residential Specialist. NPR is the Militation Relocation Professional designation. SRES is the Senior Residential Specialist designation, and the SRS is the Seller's Representative Specialist certification. Just myself, and not including any of my associates or colleagues that work for my firm, over the course of my 20 years in practice, I've closed over 500 units in sales. Last time I checked, it was around 572, I believe, in sales. And that's a combination of working part-time when I started in the industry, going full-time in 2005, working through the downturn of 2008, then going back into corporate America for a few years, and then going back into real estate full-time in 2013 up until today, just under 600 units. So I have a very strong background in real estate. I absolutely love it. I dabble in a couple of other things, as I stated, because I love education as well, but real estate truly, truly, truly is my passion. And I am here today sharing some little nuggets and tidbits with you that I think that could be helpful in your own personal real estate careers. So prospecting. Everyone knows what prospecting is, but a lot of people don't really truly understand why prospecting is important. So the answer to prospecting, or why prospecting is important, is extremely simple. Without prospecting, we will not have any new clientele. Anyone knows in any business venture, you have to be able to scale up when it comes to clients. It's great that you have a network of people, previous clients that you've worked with, and even for those that continue to refer you business. But it's most important to be able to keep your business growing, moving forward, and prospering, is that you have to prospect for new business and new clientele. So what are some of the ways that we're going to do that? Well, today I'm going to discuss with you how you can utilize and use your social media networking and your social media sphere of influence to be able to grow your pipeline of clientele. So using social media, in my opinion, in today's day and age is very important. We live in a technology-based society where everyone is using some type of digital media platform. My children will tell you at their age, I had tween kids, and I also had a 19-year-old son and a 22-year-old daughter, and they always tell me, Dad, there's an app for that. So there's an app for everything nowadays. And with that being said, we as real estate agents and real estate professionals need to also be able to operate in that sphere. We need to be able to work with clients that basically utilize tools and technologies every day to be able to incorporate those tools into our business to help in turn scale and grow and continue to grow our businesses. What I've found is print media is slowly diminishing away. There's still a bucket of people that still utilizes traditional print media. What I found in my own personal business is that is the older clientele, some of the more mature and more seasoned clients, the older generation, your baby boomers and so forth. They're the ones that still enjoy having an actual solid physical piece of marketing material or advertising, traditionally through the means of maybe possibly radio advertising, TV ads, a lot of printing as far as circulars and flyers and those type of things. Me personally, I used to do a lot of print media. I published a magazine for a number of years. It's a quarterly publication that I used to send out to my clients at no charge to them. As well as prospective clients. And to publish a magazine on a quarterly basis with all of the various different articles, etc., to keep it interesting for people to read. This item is extremely costly to be able to get out to your market. And so in that respect, what I found is that I was not getting what I felt the appropriate rate of return, my ROI, my return on my investment from traditional print media, whether it was farming various neighborhoods, sending out flyers, even looking at flyers when it comes to marketing properties and open houses. And so in that print media space, I was always fascinated by why people were kind of moving away from traditional marketing and what that looked like and how are we going to continue to reach our clients. So for me, being the nerd that I am, I decided to study that particular facet of advertising and marketing. In my doctoral work, I wrote a full 168-page dissertation around independent real estate brokers and the use of social media marketing for an avenue of free or low-cost marketing. This was my doctoral dissertation, and it focused in that area. So I've done some extensive research around using digital media to be able to reach various different spheres of influence. And this business model can work not just in real estate, but in almost any business where your business is new, if you're trying to reach a new clientele, if you're trying to scale and grow your business, and what that looks like, and how many people that you can reach in touch points. A large portion, particularly in real estate right now, a large portion of our current clientele as well as our upcoming clientele are in the pools of Gen X and millennials. And with that being said, they're extremely tech savvy. Myself, I don't go anywhere without my cell phone. Being in this business, it's extremely important to always have the ability to be able to be reached, particularly during certain hours of the day that we would classify as business hours. My family will tell you that I'm pretty much glued to my phone. I'm always on some social media, whether it's just simple text messaging. I don't really do phone calls as much. I try to, particularly when it's business related, I try to communicate in some type of writing format, whether that's email and or text messages. But what I can say is I'm always constantly looking to see what's happening out there in the world on various platforms, whether it's CNN or Facebook or whatever the case may be. I always want to know what's happening. And so for that, just like I'm constantly engrossed in various different media platforms, there are other people out there in the world in my age bracket. I'm in my 40s. Don't tell anyone, but I'm in my 40s, that are also using these technological tools. As I stated earlier, there's pretty much an app for everything. And so since there's the ability to be able to reach people in those formats, we now, as real estate agents, also need to make sure that we're operating in that space. So with digital media, every agent I know has an email account, right? That's generally how we typically communicate with people. We conduct all of our business via email. When we want a paper trail on something, we send items via email. We communicate contractual obligations via email, whether it's with clients to send offers back and forth to other agents, working with title companies and escrow and the lenders, etc. We communicate via email. So every agent should have an email presence, right? So in that respect, most agents also have a website. If they don't have a website, they at least should. I'm a big advocate and a big component of a personal website. I understand that a lot of agents work for brokerages that provide web platforms for them. And so if you work for one of the bigger firms, XYZ Realty, one of the larger national global firms, generally those agencies or those companies will provide a website for you or provide the company website, and they tell you to utilize that on your marketing and on your business cards. And that is also fine, but I think that it's important for you as an individual agent or a team of agents to be able to market yourselves and your business and not necessarily specifically just the company's business. So in my view, from my perspective, I think it's imperative that every agent has a personal website. Almost every agent I know in this day and age has a Facebook page. And if they don't have a professional Facebook page, they at least have a personal Facebook page. I think that that's extremely important, again, to be able to have a presence out there in the digital world. You need to be able to leave a digital footprint where people can find you. If I just met you at a party, etc., and I'm interested in this with you, I know me personally, for almost anything in my life, I go directly to Google. I meet a new person, I go directly to Google and I put their name in and I want to see what their digital footprint looks like. And that's regardless of what industry you're in, whether you're potential dentist, an accountant, a doctor, whatever. I want to see what's out there in cyberspace and what footprint have you left out in cyberspace that allows me to find more information about who you are and what services that you offer. So for most of you, again, if you have an email account, which I'm pretty sure you do, if you have a website, whether it's yours or your company's, and most people have a Facebook page, right? Whether it's your personal page, your professional page, or both. You should be using those items to touch your clients. Literally, if not every day, at least once a week at an absolute minimum. For me personally, what I found is even utilizing social media, and also what I found in my doctoral research, is that when you have a personal Facebook page or professional Facebook page, and you're constantly posting everything real estate related, real estate, you generally lose a market share because the people out there, yes, they know what you do, but after a while, they're going to get tired of only seeing real estate related items from you. It's almost like it's a constant commercial on a loop, right? And so with that being said, it's important that any potential client or the current clients that you have see a little bit of your personal side. I think that it's imperative that they get to see who you are as an individual, because we, as people, just as humans in general, we're very societal based, right? We like to do business with people that we have something in common with, something that we know about them, whether it's politics or church, or we have children together, or, we like the same baseball team, or we like the same genre of music. So I think it's imperative that even though you might have a business Facebook page or a professional Facebook page, or you have a personal Facebook page and you put a lot of business related material out there, you need to be able to give the general public just a glimpse into your personal life, because they really want that. They want to see that. We want that from our politicians. Even in an election cycle, we immediately want to see what's happening with our politicians and with our leaders of the world and the leaders of various organizations. So if you have those minimum things, the email address, the website, the Facebook page, what other items are you out there using? There's a ton of them. So let's talk about a few. Again, everybody should have a website. Everybody should have some type of Facebook page. But what about a blog? A lot of people don't like to do blogs because they don't want to take the time to put together the material. Me personally, I have a blog. If you Google me or look up my blog page, soldbydarrengibson.com, you'll see my blog there. I try to post some type of reading material on my blog or write some type of commentary on my blog at least once a week. That is the goal. That may not always necessarily be the case, but the goal is to post something out there for my followers and my readers to read at least once a week. That's one of those what I call touch points, reaching out to your clientele. For those that already have your blog site, they generally go, if they've read something that they liked in the past, they'll generally go back out there to see what you have or what's been posted that is new. Another thing that I just started getting into is vlogging. So a blog is a video version of a blog. Taking personal videos of yourself, taking videos of yourself when you're out showing properties with clients, kind of making your own little mini web series, if you will. It's a great opportunity to be able to capture clients, and it piques their interest when you've kind of put a theme to the vlog, and every week or every other week you're out selling DC, for example. If I wanted to call my blog like Selling DC or Selling in the DMV, because I live in, which is right on the outside of DC, and if you know anything about this area, we call this area, it's been coined the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. We're all right there together in a kind of collective sphere. And so as a broker, I'm licensed in all three of those jurisdictions, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Virginia from here is all of maybe 7 miles, and DC from here is about 4 miles. And I'm actually talking to you right now from the state of Maryland. So we've got to be able to cover all of those areas. So with the vlog, if I wanted to keep a video diary, if you will, of some of my antics out in the real estate world, whether it's showing properties or out with clients or what's happening during an inspection process, etc., and providing useful information to particular clients, current clients, potential clients, or just the world in general. Catching people's attention. It's a good opportunity to be able to grow your sphere of influence and do another touch point to your clients and to the world. Instagram, very big one, very lucrative. I was watching a show, I want to say maybe 4 years ago when I was in the middle of doing my doctoral dissertation work. And the show may be familiar to a lot of people. It's a $1 million listing, one of the $1 million listing versions, because you know they have several, right? So they have like New York and California and LA and all of these other versions. And one of the agents on $1 million listing made a comment that he sold XYZ amount in real estate a year by posting real estate listings and photos of new listings on his Instagram. And for me, at first, I was extremely nervous because I was like, I've got a lot of personal stuff on my Instagram page, and I don't necessarily know if I just want random people following me. But the good thing about Instagram is that literally people can follow you. They can click like and follow you literally without asking your permission. And so they can like and share that information out to tons of folks. If you put something out on your Instagram or out on your other social media outlets, it can reach thousands of people in a matter of hours, days, if not hours. And so that's a phenomenal outlet or tool for you to be able to use to grow your sphere of influence. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't use Pinterest. I had a conversation with another agent on my staff or on my team with my company, and I was speaking with her because she does like cooking and recipes, etc. And she was telling me about the fact that she uses Pinterest to place a lot of her cooking ideas and recipes, but she never thought about using Pinterest for real estate. And I laughed because I was like, well, you've got to be kidding, right? Like, I use Pinterest all the time. It's a platform that's, social media, and a lot of people use it for various different outlets. So why would we not use it for real estate? There's a whole real estate section on Pinterest that is really being underutilized by real estate agents. So if that's a social media platform or a digital media platform that you haven't used yet, or used in your business model, I definitely suggest to incorporate that. Twitter, I don't tweet as much anymore because I don't really have the time for it, but it's really a phenomenal tool to use as well. If you know anything about the current political climate, if you will, in my opinion, literally our election was almost won by Twitter. Our president literally captured an audience being able to communicate with a following in real time, instantaneously. And whatever information that was shared could be multiply shared by thousands of people in a matter of minutes. And I think it's one of the best platforms to be able to instantly communicate with a large group of people, to be able to get your words out there to the world. Twitter. We just talked about Twitter. LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn quite often for some of my other professional ventures, but I also use it for real estate as well. The same information that I put on my blog. So if I type up a new blog post, I generally also put that information on my LinkedIn account. So I'll do a posting to LinkedIn. People will see that posting and they'll like it. A lot of times they'll share the information with their colleagues, or someone may be interested, or they'll tag people that may be interested in reading that particular article. And what I've also found is that I've had people reach out to me in direct messenger in LinkedIn, asking various questions. If I posted something that interests them, they'll reach out to me and say, hey, you posted something about X, Y, and Z, and I had some additional questions. And that will spark conversation, and which will in turn, turn into a client lead. So that has been instrumental as well as for bringing in clients, particularly in a commercial space. If you operate in the commercial space of real estate, whether that's development, office building, leasing, etc., I definitely suggest utilizing LinkedIn, tapping into LinkedIn for a new sphere of influence. Snapchat. Instant videos on the fly. They last 24 hours and they're gone. Great way to be able to touch new people, particularly that millennial and Gen Z bucket of folks. I think it's a great tool to use. As well as YouTube. In current day society, we've literally had people who have become stars overnight using YouTube. We've got influencers out there that develop a following by having people subscribe to their YouTube channel, and they've become overnight sensations. So YouTube is a platform that is very underutilized, and I think that it should be used more. Me personally, I don't have a lot of subscribers to my YouTube page. But what I do have is that anytime I list a property for sale, I do a video shoot. The videographer or the photographer that has done the property shooting for me will do a virtual tour for me, and I'll post it to my YouTube. I will post it to my YouTube page. And with my YouTube, I now take that video and I'll post it to my other social media outlets, like LinkedIn, like Facebook, like Instagram. And it allows me to be able to showcase my property listings utilizing that platform. So in my opinion, I also think that that's a phenomenal tool that's extremely underutilized in the real estate market, particularly for marketing agents agents and their services to the public, as well as marketing properties to the public. So some advantages. We talked about this a moment ago. From my research, again, in my dissertation here, with the 28 real estate agents that I interviewed, what I found that for those that were using social media in their marketing practices, 85% of them reported a higher level of revenue than they did the year before and the year prior. So in my dissertation, I spoke to I collected data from 28 agents for those that in a 2 to 3 year span did not use social media. And then as they started to use social media, did they get new potential leads? And out of those leads, how many of those leads actually turned into clients that turned into closed deals in regards to revenue? And out of the agents that I interviewed and the data that I collected, 85% of them stated that based on their use of social media, they would estimate that their revenue increased from 2 years ago when they were not using it to where they are using it at the time of the interview 2 years later, primarily because of the increase in leads. That touch point that you have the ability to be able to reach multiple people instantaneously allows you to be able to communicate in real time. What I love about social media, again, another advantage is that you have that instant contact. Somebody reaches out to me on Facebook, I can immediately respond right then instead of sending an email and having to, wait for the email to come through and then respond back. It's literally like a live walkie-talkie chat, if you will, back and forth immediately instead of typing up a whole response, hitting send, waiting for it to receive in their email box, waiting for them to open it, waiting for them to download it, read the whole entire thing, and then they type up a full response and send it back. What social media, again, gives you that instant contact. You can talk to someone over Facebook in the instant messenger, in Instagram in the instant messenger, and it's a live dialogue. You're literally conversing and dialoguing back and forth in an instant fashion. Social media also allows you to be able to increase your exposure. You can take your sphere of influence of literally 200 followers, and before you know it, you've been exposed to over 2,000 people in a matter of days, if not hours, because your followers have the ability to be able to share your information. One of the things that you'll see if you've ever kind of found me out in cyberspace, in digital space, is when you listen to one of my videos, I always tell people at the end, if you like what you heard, click like and click share. So if you want to be able to pass along this little tidbit of knowledge to other people, like my posting and share it with your friends. So click like and click share. And before you know it, you've been exposed out to the world and you've reached a whole new sphere of influence that you wouldn't have had before. So that exposure is great. One of the things I absolutely love is the cost efficacy, right? Most social media outlets are absolutely free to use. All you've got to do is sign up. Yes, sometimes you get bogged down in some of the advertisers and the advertisements that are being used to help pay for those platforms. So to be clear about that, Facebook is free to the end user. Instagram is free to the end user, yes. But if you've ever been on Facebook and you've gone out to the internet to search for something, then you come back to Facebook and you realize whatever you search for is now on your Facebook timeline, is because the data mining that's happening in the background allows for that particular merchant or that retailer to be able to provide it to now place an ad on your Facebook timeline. So after a while, that'll get tiresome, to some degree. But in the same token, you still are using that platform as an end user absolutely free. So the cost for you is very minimal to none. So I definitely think that it's a great avenue there to be able to get out your word out with your message about your business offering, as well as you as an individual out to the public. And what I absolutely love about social media and digital marketing and digital media is the continuous engagement, right? You have the ability to be able to continue to communicate with a large group of clients without communicating with the group of clients. So like right now, if I were to post something on my Instagram, it will literally touch all of the people that are following me with one click of a button. It's continuous communication. And I can go and update that post. I can go and interact with those people. If someone posts something or tags someone in the post, I can communicate with them in the thread. And it's a continuous communication that literally happened with one click of a button. You cannot buy better press. With that, those advantages, there are also some disadvantages. So what I found is that for me, when I've talked to people about using social media, the first thing they said was, I don't like people prying into my personal life. I don't want people knowing anything about me other than what I do. So that can be a disadvantage. what I found from personal experience, as well as from the data that I collected when I was doing my dissertation, is that most folks want to see a little bit about you. It doesn't have to be much, but they want to know whether or not you like opera. They want to know whether or not you listen to country music or bluegrass. They want to know whether or not you enjoy, pizza, or whether or not you like certain, you don't have to give specific political views, but they want to know a little bit about you. Where did you grow up? What things you like to do? What do you like to do in your free time? Do you enjoy knitting? Do you enjoy gardening? Something that they can find that's relatable to. If there's something that they can relate with, you now start at an advantage because you're starting with some commonality and common ground. Some folks find that to be a disadvantage because they don't want people to know anything about their personal life. That, in my opinion, is an individual aspect that you have to kind of somewhat balance out on your own. Some people enjoy it, some don't. I think that's a matter of personal preference. Another thing, having social media out there for the public to see also gives them the ability to be able to air their personal grievances on your media platform, whether it's your website in a feedback tab, whether it's Yelp or any of those other sites. Your Facebook page possibly has the ability for clients to be able to leave testimonials, your Instagram, and all these other variations of sites. YouTube, when a client subscribes to your video, they have the ability to be able to leave comments at the bottom. And that happens in any other fashion for any other YouTube vlogger that posts information out there. Has the open general public has the ability to be able to leave comments. And all the time, those comments aren't necessarily always positive. So you've got to be prepared if there is some negativity that may come from you being exposed to the public. And then lastly, there's the potential for ethical violations when you're using digital media. What I've learned over the course of years is that sometimes agents will post things on their personal social media pages or on their digital pages, their websites, or etc., without giving credit where credit is due. Meaning, if ABC Realty has a listing that you want to showcase on your website or on your digital media, and you're not giving that brokerage the credit or that listing agent the credit for that particular listing, that's an ethical violation in most jurisdictions. Yes, if you toured a property and you wanted to put that on your video blog or take pictures while you're touring the property with the client, if you don't get permission from that homeowner or that listing agent or that commercial agent to be able to publicize that information about this particular listing, that could be an ethical violation in most jurisdictions. So you definitely have to be careful with that, because there's definitely some disadvantages that could cost you in fines, etc., from your real estate board. So some additional touch points that I absolutely love. In my market, a lot of people in the business arena, they use or they read the newspaper. In DC, because we are in such a big political client, the Washington Post is probably our largest media outlet. But we also have a business newspaper journal called the Washington Business Journal. I run digital ads in the business journal. Sometimes I'll run an ad about my personal service. Sometimes I'll run an ad about my business service. Sometimes I'll showcase property listings there. And I never hardly now run what I call traditional print ads in the regular newspaper, the Sunday paper. They have the big real estate section. In most jurisdictions, they have the big real estate section in their Sunday paper. Me personally, I found that I have not been able to get my return on investment on those traditional print sources. But the digital newspapers are very cost effective. Particularly if you hit an advertisement on the right day, where you find where a lot of business professionals will generally read the paper, like Wednesday or Monday, or found that has been very lucrative for me. And so I run advertisements in the local digital paper. Washington Business Journal is one of the favorites. Again, I showcase my properties there. I showcase advertisements about myself, and I also showcase advertisements about my business. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some samples of some of my own personal media. Here is my blog, if you will. You see, every week or so, I try to post various different information. I'll write up an article about something that's happening in real estate, and it'll have my contact information down there. You'll see like just various different little tidbits about different things that's real estate related. And generally, I try to post something at least once a week. Does that always happen? Not necessarily so, but I try to. Here is a sample of my YouTube channel and some of the video postings that I post there for property listings, etc. And again, a lot of times it's not necessarily for people to subscribe to my channel, but it's really just about being able to put videos out there that showcase various properties. I also discussed with you some digital media in the world of business journaling. The business-related newspapers. So this is the Washington Business Journal and some of their various different themes and what they can do and what they have to offer. They do a digital newsletter that comes out twice a week. I generally always post on Mondays, and then these are the different varying sections of that digital paper. See right there, we can showcase a home of the day. Here we can have, if you can see my mouse there, you'll see that there's a page for experts in a particular field, whether it's real estate or home buying or selling cars or whatever, but you have the ability to be able to showcase yourself in those particular areas. Here is a sample of my company website and some of the digital offerings that we have there. Everything from, meet my team of real estate agents, who we are, and our various different platforms, and, just information about properties that we've sold. Again, I also have my vlog there. I try to put as many touch points as possible. So you'll see various different articles that I posted on my blog on our company real estate site. And for those of you that have never seen Pinterest before, this is what Pinterest looks like. And you've got various different sections of like DIY right here that's real estate related. If you're looking at property sales, I've got some here, some over here with various different information about luxury properties. So there's an opportunity for agents to be able to showcase themselves and their properties and their listings there. And here's my LinkedIn page. So this is my LinkedIn. You can see there I post information from my blog and various different fashions there, properties that I have for sale, etc. So I try to use all of my social media outlets as much as possible to be able to expand my sphere of influence. One of my last and final tidbits that I think that's very important, this is my own personal nugget, and I was a little apprehensive about sharing it because I didn't want everybody to know my secret, but I'm going to share this with the green world so that you guys may have the ability to be able to utilize this tool to be able to capture more business leads. So nowadays, I try my best not to give out a live business card. I have them. I have business cards with my information on them, yes, but I try honestly not to give out a personal business card. What I do is I provide a digital business card for my clients. If I meet someone new and they ask for my contact information, I'll immediately say to them, well, why don't I drop you my digital business card? So I have a digital business card that I created on my phone. It's really just my website, honestly, that has my contact information in it. And the website has the ability to be able to come in an app format. It has my contact information in it, and what I'll do is I'll request that whoever wants me to share my contact information with them, I will now either text or email or airdrop them my business card, my digital business card, which is essentially my contact information through my app to their contact right there on the spot. So if I'm texting it to them, I'll first ask their name. John, it's great to meet you. Why don't I send you over my digital business card and we'll keep in touch? And so I'll ask him for his phone number and I'll text, 702-555-5555. And then I'll start with, hey, John, this is Darren Gibson. It was great to meet you. And then click share and then send in the text the link to my website. And so from that point, I've now captured John's phone number. And so when I want to follow up with him at a later time, I've got his phone number now in my phone and his name. That's why I always lead out with, great to meet you, John. I hope we can keep in touch, John Smith, etc., and then send the card. Same with email. If a person is uncomfortable with giving you their phone number, I'll say, hey, why don't I email you over my digital business card? So I'll go right to my phone. I always have it pulled up. I'll hit share, put their email address right in there, johnsmith@gmail.com. And then I'll say, hey, John, it was great to meet you today, blah, blah, blah. Let's keep in touch. And I'll put the link in for my app, which is my digital business card. And now I've got John's email. So I have the ability to be able to converse with him back and forth, and I've captured his information without being overly aggressive. So one of my own personal tidbits, I don't know who else is out there doing it, but I found that about 2 years ago, I was at a client appreciation party, like a housewarming, and one of that client's guests asked for my contact information. And so I ran out of business cards because it was towards the end of the actual party. And he said, well, why don't you just text me over your info? And I said, good idea. And I took that and I kind of spun it with, adding my website and adding my app. And so one other thing I wanted to show you guys really quick is that we also have a digital app. Here at the very, very bottom, we have an app. So my company has an app. We actually have an app that's available in the App Store and in Google Play. What I love about the app for us is that, again, it's a lead capture mechanism. So when a client downloads the app, or a potential client downloads the app to search for properties, to look for an agent, or whatever it is that they're doing, they can download the app from the digital store for free. It's free in the Apple Store. It's free in the Google Play for Android users. However, before you start to use the app for free, it makes you log in. You have to register. Name, address, or name, email, and phone number. And that allows us to be able to capture the information so we can then follow up with that potential lead when they start using our app. So yes, we provide a service out to the public, but in return, we're getting potential lead capture that will hopefully transition into new clients. So my final thoughts. Digital media is the most cost-effective way to be able to market your services, you and your services to the public. Free. You can't get any more cost-effective than that. Nowadays, when we're meeting people, almost everyone is tech-savvy, but not everybody. You do have a market of older clients that are not as savvy with the phone. My dad was here visiting last week. He's 75. He just learned how to log in to check his bank account from his iPhone, and he's had the phone now 2 years. So yes, you've got a bucket of folks that are not as tech savvy as they used to be. And so for that, there's still times where you will still probably have to do some traditional media marketing, like print media, like I showed you earlier, postcards and flyers, etc. But for the most part, probably 70%, in my opinion, 70% of the people that you will do business with or are currently doing business with in the future has the ability to be able to either text, email, and or airdrop. So you can get your information to them in a fashion that won't cost you anything to print anything, flyers and all of these other mailing type materials, etc. And my final thought is, if you've learned anything or if you've taken anything away from this particular seminar or course today, is that you need to choose one or two or all of these platforms and start using them immediately. Use them now before every agent out there catches on. Companies are already using them. A lot of these larger organizations have social media specialists. They have people that literally sit there all day long and manage their social media accounts. Airlines are doing it. Walmart is doing it. A lot of these large organizations are doing it. And why can't we, as real estate agents, utilize these tools that are available for us? And so I definitely think that if you are a type of person that needs to grow your market share, or even if you are doing well, but you want to scale up a little bit and increase your lead capture, or if you're working with the team and some of the team members are using it, everybody needs to use it and use it consistently so that you have the ability to be able to brand yourself. Utilize these tools while they are out there and while they are free, before everyone catches on to the opportunity that these tools are out there, and it's going to saturate the market in the digital space with all of these various people vying for business, right? If everybody is utilizing the same tools and the same catchphrases on the same platforms, sooner or later the consumers are going to get tired. So let's go ahead and use them now before every agent catches on. That's my personal tidbit for my green family. Thank you for your time. I am Darren Gibson, the real estate doctor. You can follow me on Instagram. My hashtag is the real estate doctor DMV. You can find me there. You can reach out to me on any type of social media if you'd like. If you have any questions, I will take them now. And if you don't have any questions, I'd like to say again, thank you for your time hanging out with me today. Also, thank you for using Green, and we will see you at a future course.